Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my exact step-by-step process which I would use to leverage Instagram stories to start making money within 48 hours. Now, listen, if you're an agency, coach, or a consultant and you want to have unlimited clients and you want to be looking like this, on top of the world, clients begging to work with you, having constant high ticket deals coming to you and literally being delivered to your doorstep and you printing cash, I just want you to watch this video right the way to the end, because I am going to be breaking down my exact step-by-step process which I would use and I have used to print cash from Instagram stories. Whether you're running a low ticket, medium, or a high ticket offer, this can work for you. Now, listen, you're probably already using Reels, TikTok, YouTube, email marketing, SMS, VSLs, paid ads to drive traffic to whatever it is you're selling. Whether you're selling just a simple high ticket offer or medium or low ticket, whether you're trying to get someone in, your medium or low ticket school community, whatever it is you're selling, you can literally be adding anywhere, and I mean anywhere from 5 to 15k, literally just from Instagram stories. So while you're already using all of these channels, Reels, YouTube, whatever it may be, why don't you just add Instagram stories into that kind of stack? And then what you can go ahead and do, as I said, is get unlimited clients day in, day out. You can have people that are begging to work with you and the people that are paying the highest prices for your service. So that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching in this video, how you can add that Instagram story sequence to your tech stack, which will basically then allow you to go ahead and print cash. But what I need you to realize is finding clients that beg to work with you really isn't that difficult. They really aren't that difficult to find. You can literally find them anywhere, because your favorite gurus like Iman Gadzhi, Dan Koe, Dan Henry, all use this method. They all use this method to find clients that are begging to work with them because they know and they've cracked the code, because it really isn't that difficult, right? So what I want you to go ahead and do, as I said, is stick to the end of the video, because there's going to be a few checkpoints throughout the video which I want you to tick off. Now, before we actually get into the funnel breakdown, what I want you to go ahead and do is I want you to watch this video in 1.5x speed, so then you can really digest everything that I'm giving you in this video, because this video is value packed and I can guarantee you will walk away with something that you didn't know before, okay? And also at the end of the video, I've got something really, really cool which I want to show you, and I've got a few things which I want to give you for completely free, so just stick around. Now, as I said, if you want people that are messaging you like this, Paul messaged me, "Hi Jed, love what you're doing at EAP, blah, blah, blah. Who do you mind to talk to when you need assistance? Is that right? If so, send me a calendar link. I want to talk with you ASAP." Now, Paul sent me this a while back, 24th of November, okay? And we jumped on a call as soon as possible. Now, he is only here because he was part of the 10 to 20%, which I'll get a bit more into in a moment, that just kind of tagged along and followed my Instagram account and kind of liked me. They came from this YouTube channel and they kind of liked the vibe, but they were part of the 10 to 20% that literally that's all they wanted to do. They didn't want to buy, they didn't want to kind of contribute to their own self-growth, because they just wanted to stick around and they liked me, okay? Now, I posted a story sequence and Paul sent me this message a day after that story sequence, okay? So this is basically how to get clients that are begging to work with you, and they are the highest ticket clients, but it really doesn't matter what you're trying to sell, whether it's a low, medium, or high ticket. Instagram story sequences are insane for printing cash in a really short period of time, okay? Now, listen, this is what a lot of gurus and a lot of people on here don't talk about. I've seen a lot of people make really, really similar videos to this in terms of the content which is actually in there, because there's no other way that you can differentiate the Instagram sequence method. But I just wanted to go over first the use of the Kano model. Now, the Kano model literally consists of 3 core things. So that is the attractiveness, the performance, and the must be of whatever you are selling. So this is, firstly, I just wanted to go over how you can actually create an irresistible offer so people are begging to work with you. Okay? Now, I've tried to make it as simple as possible to understand the Kano model. So firstly is the must-be features. Now that is the pink curve by here. And now that is the bare minimum. So they are the fundamental requirements that clients expect. Now, if you don't have them, they won't even consider you. Okay? So there's no point in trying to beat around the bush. There's no point in trying to find a different avenue. If you do not have these fundamentals or the fundamental requirements that clients expect, they won't even consider you. But what I want you to realize is having them doesn't make you stand out. It doesn't make you unique, right? So just make sure you have the fundamental requirements. Look at it like this. If a car doesn't have brakes, it really is a pretty significant thing if a car doesn't have brakes. But if a car does have brakes, it's normal. It's no different from, one car to another. But if you do not have brakes, it is majorly significant. So just look at it like that. Have the fundamentals, okay? Now, the second thing is the performance features. Now, that is the yellow curve. So that is what clients compare. So that directly impacts satisfaction in a linear way, okay? So better performance equals higher satisfaction. Now, clients compare these results or compare these features when making a decision, okay? So if you want to have something that clients compare in a positive way and in a linear way, right, which is only beneficial to you, have that better performance, right, which is going to equal higher satisfaction, okay? The third and the final thing is the attractive features. So that is the blue curve down here. Now, the attractive features are the wow factor. So the unexpected benefits that clients don't actually ask for. But when they've got them, they really are blown away. So basically, with the wow factor, when you actually get a client, right, or whenever you're giving them something, so let's say you're giving them something for free, a lead magnet, whatever it may be, take them on a journey which is something that they didn't expect, but obviously in a positive way. Give them something which they didn't expect. Give them something extra. If you're giving a lead magnet on how to maybe grow on LinkedIn or whatever, or how to actually scale to 10K, give them something extra. Give them something which will help them scale to 20K, 25K, whatever it may be. Give them something extra. And that doesn't only work for giving stuff away for free, whether it's a lead magnet or whatever. It also goes for actually when you have a client, over-deliver on what you've promised. Because I can promise you they will be blown away. Okay? Now, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video and throughout the video, Instagram stories. Now, Instagram stories are insane. As I mentioned, if you want to actually build that trust and that conversion funnel, if you're selling a low, medium, or high ticket, right, it is really going to build trust and you are going to be able to print cash in such a short period of time. On average, it takes anywhere from 72 hours to actually make anywhere from 2 to 5K if you run the sales story sequence properly, okay? Now, listen, as I mentioned before, most people focus on Reels, emails, DMs, YouTube, but story sequences convert the remaining 10 to 20% of warm leads. As I mentioned before, that 10 to 21%. So that is based on a figure of if 100 people follow you, 10 to 20% of those people, or 10 to 20 of those people will just follow you purely down to the fact that they like you, they like what you do, they like your story, and they just want to be there for the vibe because they like it, they like your posts and they do everything, right? They support you. Now that's purely down to the fact that they like you. Now, those 10 to 20% of warm leads, they're the ones who haven't bought. Okay, so let's say that 90 or 80% have already bought out of 100 people that follow you. As I said before, these followers already know you, so making it easier and 10 times easier to actually sell to them, right? Now, again, just to reiterate it, because it's so significant if you haven't already jumped on the opportunity, top entrepreneurs like Iman Gadzhi, Dan Koe, Dan Henry, Cardinal Mason have all used this to generate 6 to 7 figures in revenue in a really, really short period of time. Okay, so listen, this is exactly how you're going to leverage story sequences for client acquisition. Put this in your client acquisition strategy, put this in your client acquisition funnel, and I can promise within 72 hours, you can make anywhere from 2 to 5K if you do it in the correct manner. So I've broken it down into 4 simple sequences and 4 simple steps. Okay, so first thing is the hook. You want to grab attention, right? But you want to grab it with a polarizing statement, a big claim, or an engaging question. Okay, so an example of this could be why most agency owners never break past 20K per month if you're a coach. Okay, so really write something that is going to make them turn their head, right? Now, this isn't the best example because this is quite a generic hook to use, but you can really use any hook. Okay, so why most agency owners never break past 20K per month. That might make people think, okay, he knows what he's talking about. I want to listen to what he's going to say. Okay, and they'll just keep scrolling through the stories. Now, the second thing is actually the story. So explain the problem and the solution whilst keeping it engaging. So, for example, before I implemented this, I was stuck at 5K a month. Now my clients are closing 50K plus deals on autopilot, right? So show that social proof, right? Stick a screenshot in there, whatever it may be, just show proof within your story, but show the problem, but then present the solution, because the most important thing here is actually keeping it engaging for the prospect or the warm lead to actually read, okay? Now, the third thing is proof, as I mentioned above. So show testimonials, screenshots, live results, whatever it may be, just show proof of what you are actually claiming you can do, okay? Show that you've done it for other people and show how you can do it for them as well. Now, an example here, here's a message from a client who hit 30K in their first month with this strategy, okay? Now, this would be really good if you're an agency or maybe a growth operator or whatever it may be. Right? Here's a message from a client who hit 30K in their first month with this strategy. Live message, direct link to a Loom video of you and the client speaking, and then him giving you or them giving you the testimonial. Now, the fourth and the final thing here is the CTA. That's obviously the call to action. So what you want to go ahead and do is you want to guide them to DM you. Now, whether it's guide them to DM you, book a call, or join a private community, whether it's on School, Discord, Facebook, or wherever it may be, right? What you can go ahead and do is guide them to DM you, and then down below in just a moment, I'll run you through how you can automate that entire sequence, okay, and what it actually does from start to finish. Or you can literally just reduce the friction by about 95% and just get them to book a call with you. Stick your calendar link in there, and I can promise you that is going to reduce so much friction from them clicking on the story and you redirecting them back to the link in their bio, right, on their profile. So just reduce friction, stick a link to the calendar on your story, and I can promise you'll see an increase, if not, doubling in the amount of people that book a call with you. Then joining a private community, what you can go ahead and do, free community, and go for an upsell from there, which is probably the best strategy, obviously, if you're a coach or a consultant. If you're an agency owner, you want to reduce the friction and get them to book a call with you instantly, or DM you, so then you can go ahead and nurture them a little bit more before you book the call. Now, an example of this is DM me, the word system, if you want to see how this works for your business, okay? Now, that is basically everything in terms of how to actually leverage story sequences for your client acquisition. Now, there is a more in-depth way of this, and that is in the bio. There is a full guide, a full 20-page doc, which you can use to actually leverage story sequences from back to front, like Iman Gadzhi, Dan Koe, Dan Henry, Cardinal Mason, all of these big entrepreneurs that are top in the space, okay, and how they're actually using it to add 30, 40, 50K in rev within a few days. Now, here's just a really simple posting strategy for coaches and agencies, which you can kickstart today. That's why it's super simplistic, so you can get it up and running today and start generating revenue within 72 hours. Okay, now, First thing is the do's. So post daily personal content. So for example, behind the scenes, lifestyle, value posts, just to build that goodwill on you and your profile. You know, if people are already coming from maybe YouTube or TikTok or wherever it may be to follow you because they like you and they like what you do and they actually do see the value in what you're doing, just post some, you know, behind the scenes lifestyle or value based posts just to kind of build a bit more goodwill, because, you know, the warmer the lead is, the higher chance that they're going to buy, right? The second thing is 1 times per week, right? Drop a structured, it has to be structured, sales oriented story sequence. Now that is literally going to generate DMs, calls, whatever it may be. Now this is specifically for coaches and agencies if you want to reduce the friction and book the calls. Okay. Now, some of the don'ts here is don't make it all about you. You know, while behind the scenes content is amazing, your sales story sequences should focus on your audience's pain points and the transformation which you can give them. Okay? Provide them with the destination rather than kind of the process which you're going to, you know, make to get there, or, you know, create to get there. Now, don't just provide the journey. As I said, provide the transformation and the destination. Okay. The second thing is do not use weak or generic CTAs. Now, I'll put a few examples in here. You know, so some of the vague, and I mean really vague CTAs that I see all the time, people using as story sequences, and it's never going to convert ever. It's just not going to happen. People are just going to drop off and just be like, oh, whatever, another guru, another guy, you know, trying to sell me something. Don't use vague CTAs like, let me know if you're interested. Instead, you want to use clear and direct CTAs, like, again, DM me system, you know, if you want this set up in your business. Or, and this is going to increase friction, or it's, you know, it's not going to be very beneficial if you want to decrease the friction in your sales process. But tap the link in my bio to book a free strategy call, right? Direct them to somewhere, right? Or just give them the link directly to book the call. Okay. So again, don't use weak CTAs and don't make it all about you. Post daily personal content, and then 1 times per week, you want to drop a structured sales oriented story sequence. Okay. Now, listen, what I want you to go ahead and do, I'm giving you 100% access to this. And honestly, you can just do it. I want you to steal this prompt to create an in-depth, high converting launch strategy for your sales oriented sales stories. Okay. Now listen, I have spent copious amounts of hours training this, creating this prompt based on, as I've mentioned before, all of the story sequences that Iman Gadzhi, Dan Coe, Dan Henry, Cardinal Mason has created from back to front. I have combined all of the data, I've compared it to see which ones are performing the best, right? Based on the copy, based on kind of the social proof which they're putting in there, okay? And I have created this prompt. Now, what I want you to go ahead and do is I want you to screenshot this prompt here right now, because as I said, it's going to create a high converting launch strategy for your new offer. Okay. Now, obviously, this is all interchangeable, the number of days, you know, whether you're running a coaching program, consulting offer, agency service, specific transformation or result, you know, and then your, you know, ideal client profile, Instagram stories, whatever it may be, whatever you want to do it on. You want to do it on Instagram stories, of course. Okay. And then obviously, you know, anything else that is interchangeable. Okay, so what I want you to go ahead and do is I want you to screenshot this, but also I'm going to leave a link to this where you can download it directly. Okay, and you can see the output from this prompt directly down below in the bio. Just press on it, click download, and you'll get access to it straight away, with also what it looks like whenever the prompt has finished. Now, listen, as I said before, you can automate your Instagram story DM replies. Now, it's so simple, right? Probably a lot of people know this, but you are doing it in the wrong way. These two conversion systems are literally the best systems that I've set up in terms of replying automatically to Instagram story DMs. Okay, now it's literally 2 simple processes. So one is super simplistic. If you just want to send them a direct link and then you're not really worried about nurturing or going for an upsell or a downsell, it's literally this simplistic. So a user replies to your story and then an automatic message will get sent instantly. Hey there, here's the link for whatever it may be, whether it's a system, whether it's a Loom video, whatever it may be. Here's the link for it. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, now the second system goes a little bit more in depth in terms of actually nurturing the lead and gaining, getting access to their email and whatnot. Okay, so firstly, user replies to your story. Okay, message is then sent. Awesome, drop me your best email address here and I'll send over the free course. Now, what we're going ahead and do here is actually waiting, right, for the email from the contact. Okay, and then what I'll go ahead and do then is add that email to a contact form. Okay, and then let's say they don't respond. So what we do is we initiate a follow-up. Okay, now that follow-up literally just sends them, just bumping this up. If you're still interested in the free course, just drop me your email. And then again, we are waiting for the email. Okay, now again, once they drop the email, we are waiting to add that to a contact form. And then the next step for both of these, okay, once either one has been initiated or completed, what we'll go ahead and do then is send them, awesome, check your email and confirm it's there. Then it'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Okay, the next step from there is we use a smart delay. So we wait 23 hours and then we'll automatically send them another message, asking for some feedback. Did you get a chance to go through it? If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, and then on the back end of this, what we go ahead and do is we would, ideally, if we're getting an email or a phone number, whatever it may be, what we can go ahead and do is set up an AI sales assistant, okay? Sales assistant, and then what we can go ahead and do is we can run some dials on them and call them up and try and book them on a call, literally using an AI sales assistant. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time and actually watching that video. I took a lot of time and spent a lot of time doing research, gathering data, just to kind of make that video a little bit different compared to everyone else that's made the same kind of video, right? Especially with the Kano model, it's really different and a really nice insight. It took me a lot of time to kind of understand how that model works and how people like Iman Gadzhi, Cardinal Mason, and these big gurus are actually using it to their advantage when running these story sequences. So listen, I really appreciate you watching. Now, I understand that you hate being pitched. I understand it. I hate it too. But I just wanted to kind of put this across to you, and, it's in your court now. But if you're interested in setting up a system similar to this, or you kind of just want an audit on your funnel, whatever it may be, if we can drive traffic to a, for a certain area, add something to your acquisition channel, whatever it may be, whether it's something in your, part of your sales, kind of scripts or anything to do with your sales funnel, if you just want us to have a look at your sales funnel in its entirety and do a free audit, I am literally just going to leave a link down below. You can book a call with me there, and I will audit your entire funnel from back to front. Literally just need you to stick a few things in a form, and then we can really understand what you need. But if you're interested in, having your funnel audited for completely free, there's a link down below. Now, I do understand that having your funnel audited probably, it's not an uncommon thing to be pitched. But listen, we do it a little bit differently. So we actually gather a few details and a few, things before we actually jump on the call. So it allows us to build out a full audit, right? Rather than auditing you there and then, which we will also do, we will build you a full audit in its entirety in immense detail, so we can send it to you before we jump on the call, right? Or we can run it for you on the call as well. And then you can kind of understand what we're actually trying to, gain, and, what's beneficial and what you need to change and what's good in your funnel and whatnot. Okay. Now, listen, if that's interesting to you, that link is down below. I really would love to just steal a little bit of your time, because I really believe it will be beneficial to you. Other than that, I really, really appreciate the time which you've given me. Other than that, peace out. Thanks so much.